What's going on, guys? Chandler here. So this is going to be my new segment on my YouTube channel called First Listen Review that is taken from my $5 tier full album reactions. So I react to the entire album, and then at the very end I give my overall thoughts and initial thoughts and a score on the album as a whole. So again, if you do like what you see and want to support the channel going forward, head over to patreon.com/ChandlerBurtonEntertainment. This is exclusive to the $5 tier. Again, you get a full album reaction, review, and a whole bunch of other perks as well if you guys are interested. And again, there's always a link down below in the description and in the pinned comment. But with that being said, I hope you guys enjoy the review, and thank you all so much for watching. Alright, my friends, so again, Sleep Token, Take Me Back to Eden, my most anticipated album of 2023. I'm not going to go on and say I'm the biggest Sleep Token fan out there. There is way more hype fans out there that know everything about the lore, know everything about the songs. I just enjoy the music. I just think they're really, really good. So I'm really excited to check this out with you guys here. This is the end of a trilogy that they talked about here. So again, Sundowning is chapter 1. This Place Will Become Your Tomb is chapter 2. And then Take Me Back to Eden is going to be chapter 3. I've read a couple of reviews saying, like, if this is the end of Sleep Token, this is a great way to end their, music career. I don't know why reviews keep saying that. I don't think there's any way this band is going to stop with the forward momentum that they have. Like, when you have success with anything in your life, you just want to, like, keep pushing forward and just keep gaining that happiness and traction. And so I don't think this band's going to stop anytime soon. I think they won't put out music for a little while after this album for sure, but I don't think this is going to be the end of Sleep Token. But apparently, like, the last song is getting people really emotional, think that it is going to be the end. So I'm really intrigued to check out this entire album. This is also the longest album Sleep Token's ever put out. So Sundowning, the non-deluxe version, is like 55 minutes. This Place Will Become Your Tomb is 52 minutes. And then this album's like an hour and 3 minutes, like about 63 minutes in total. But I'm really excited, man. I'm really, really excited. I've actually heard a lot of mixed things about it. I've heard some people say, like, it's really cheesy and that it's actually not that good. People are overhyping it. And then I've heard some people say that it's, again, the best album of the year or the best album they've already heard. So I'm excited to form my own opinion. Just because I'm excited about an album doesn't mean, if I don't like it, I'll say that I don't like it. Like, I'm hoping that I like it. I always want to go into a reaction or a full album reaction hoping that I like it. But if I don't, that's okay. We'll definitely talk about it, and we'll discuss it from there. So again, the first 5 songs we've already heard, starting with Chokehold, and so I'm just really excited to experience this album. Again, whether I love it or hate it, I'm just excited to have the experience. So let's go on and pop it off. Again, Sleep Token and their brand new, hotly anticipated album, Take Me Back to Eden. Let's go on and pop it off in 3, 2, and 1.
A few moments later.
Dang, dude, that was so good. To be fair, I can see why some people don't like it. I could see, like, why negative reviews are saying, like, it's a little, like, over the top. It's a little bit crazy. It's a little bit, just like, some of the vocal styles don't necessarily work. I can see that. I can see why people aren't a fan. But for me, as a guy who loves all types of music and absolutely adores this band, this album is an absolute win. Absolute win. I'm so happy I took this journey. It did not feel like an hour and 3 minutes. Like, I wanted to keep going. That's how much I loved it. So I'm really excited to talk about it. So my first listen review for Sleep Token's new album, Take Me Back to Eden, is coming up next. So please, let's talk about it and stick around for it. Dude, I've never been so excited to talk about an album. Like, this is why I love doing what I do, because I get to listen to music like this, and Sleep Token, Take Me Back to Eden, was absolutely phenomenal. I think this is their best album. Again, I've only listened to it once, and I do need to listen to it a few more times before I really make that decision, but I'll be honest with you guys, like, obviously when I heard Alkaline for the first time, I really loved it, and then I actually did a reaction to This Place Will Become Your Tomb, and I won't lie to you, it actually took me a little while to get into it. I was actually really underwhelmed when I first listened to it for the first time. The more I listened to it, the more I kind of learned about the lore, the more that I learned about, like, what they kind of are as a band. Like, I thought I was expecting stuff like Alkaline on that album, and I shouldn't have done that. And also with Sundowning, there's a few songs on there where I was like, I don't know if I can really get into this, but they're a band that the more I listened to them, the more I was like, okay, I really, really enjoy it. And now I love Sundowning, and I love This Place Will Become Your Tomb. This album, I did not feel that at all. I did not feel underwhelmed. If anything, my expectations were exceeded immensely, and that's just me personally. Again, it's just my own personal opinion. And again, if you think this album is weak, that is completely fine. But again, while with the other two albums, I felt underwhelmed at first, with this album, I did not feel that at all, and I'm really excited to talk about it, guys. So let's go ahead and go over the pros, the cons, my top 3 favorite songs, which is honestly the hardest thing ever, and then I will give my score at the very end of this review. So let's go ahead and start with pro number 1. Again, this is going to be like with every one of their albums, that I love Vessel's voice. Like, again, I love how it's like this band doesn't want to focus on themselves. They just want to focus on the art of music. And so it's kind of like, for me, like, for example, when they hired Daisy Ridley as Rey in Star Wars, you know, say what you want about that film, but again, it's kind of cool they hired like a no-name, so that way we can just focus on the story of Star Wars. Granted, it wasn't a great story, but it's nice that we got to like focus on that and not so much like, oh, so-and-so's playing this character. We just focus on the story. And I really love how a lot of the focus is on Vessel's voice. I also love like the different styles that are in this here. So again, the singing is just better on this album than in any of the other 2 albums, in my personal opinion. More emotionally driven, which I really, really like that. There is a lot of rapping on this album. Like, I was shocked to hear it like on a lot of the other songs that, you know, weren't the singles. And I can see why people won't necessarily like that. They're going to be like, that's just super cheesy. It's just over the top. But for me, again, I like different types of music, and so I enjoy that. I thought that was really cool. Definitely, you know, the songs were already very unique in their own style, but Vessel's voice added on top of that with the different vocal styles, I thought was just absolutely terrific in every single way. So shout out to him. This is his best vocal performance, I think, on any album that they've done. So props to you. It's absolutely fantastic. Number 2, I really like the lyrics on this album. Now, again, Sleep Token does have a lore to them, you know, talking to, you know, the goddess of sleep and those types of things, but sometimes I wonder if some of the songs are actually talking about that, because again, I listened to a song like Are You Really Okay? And that song is legitimately about, like, it sounds like it's someone's like dealing with like suicide, and also talking about how like, I don't know how to, like, you know, help you if you are struggling with suicide. And it's stuff like that where I'm just like, sometimes I'm like, I feel like they not like break character, but I feel like they just are like, we need to talk about this. And the way that the song was portrayed, I just absolutely loved it. And I love the last song, Elucid. If I'm probably saying that wrong, I apologize. That song's about like self-acceptance and healing. That call to This Night Doesn't Belong to God was just, I think it was This Night Belongs to God. I could be, the offering. I get them mixed up. I do apologize about that. I think it's This Night Belongs to God. But I love that song. Again, that's a song about acceptance and healing for yourself. And so being able to hear those messages in those songs in particular were really, really powerful. I think these guys are incredible lyric writers. Sometimes, I'm going to be honest, I don't know what they're talking about. Like, for example, Aqua Regia, Gold Flux, Acid, like, I don't know what that means. I just like the way that the song sounds. But with those types of songs, like, I just think the lyrics are so cool. Even if I don't understand them all the way through, I think the lyrics are really unique, and the ones that are really personable, I think they're absolutely fantastic. And I think this music could definitely help people who are struggling with self-acceptance and those types of struggles. So huge shout out to the lyrics. I thought they were really cool. And also, I would say my third pro is that I feel like there's a lot more variety on this album, and I feel like this album's a lot more balanced than their first 2 albums. So that's just me personally. Like, for example, like, This Place Will Become Your Tomb, like, it has a lot of cool moments on there, but you could still kind of tell they're trying to find that sound, in my opinion, like, what they really wanted to sound like. And I feel like Take Me Back to Eden really is like those thoughts of going like, okay, let's make this part better, like, let's make this part more epic, let's make this part more heavier. And I really enjoyed that aspect. Again, like, a lot of people may disagree with me on that, but I think the variety on this album is a lot better than the first 2 offerings that we had, Sundowning, This Place Will Become Your Tomb. And again, keep in mind, This Place Will Become Your Tomb came out like September of 2021, and this album just came out, so it hasn't even been a full 2 years since This Place Will Become Your Tomb. So To me, this is a massive improvement over the last album, which wasn't even that bad. And so I really enjoyed the variety again, whether it was like the cool piano moments, the heavy guitar parts, the rapping, the singing, the emotion. Like, for me, there's a lot more variety on this album, and I really, really enjoyed that. And then I would say, honestly, the last pro I want to give it is that I love the journey this album takes you on. Like, honestly, again, I always complain about long songs, but again, I feel like the Summoning, Ascensionism, and the title track, Take Me Back to Eden, were just phenomenal. Like, they take you on this amazing, beautiful journey that you're just like so, like, you're so engrossed in. Even the songs we already heard, like Chokehold, The Summoning, Granite, like, they just take you on a journey from start to finish. This album is a journey, and I haven't felt that way about an album in a long time. Nothing better than taking a journey on an album and just being emotionally satisfied with it. I mean, this album to me is just so good. So honestly, like, again, I know it's my first initial listen, but I really don't have any cons with this album. So I'm going to propose a conversation segment for you guys. So if you feel comfortable, again, on my Patreon, obviously this comes out first and then this will be uploaded to YouTube. So leave me a comment on Patreon or YouTube. I love to get a back and forth conversation. Start with you guys here. What is your favorite song from Sundowning? And what is your favorite song from This Place Will Become Your Tomb? For me, honestly, when it comes to Sundowning, I gotta say Sugar is my favorite song. I love that song. I think his vocals on that are fantastic. That's still to this day one of my favorite Sleep Token songs, and I just love the big rock part anthem at the end. I thought that was really cool. So for me, Sugar, I love that song. And when it comes to This Place Will Become Your Tomb, like, I probably would say, man, it's really hard. Like, it's really, really hard. It's like, I love High Water. I love Alkaline. I love The Love You Want. It's probably The Love You Want. My fiance and I both love that song, and she can sing that song beautifully. So probably The Love That You Want. So let me know your favorite song from Sundowning. Let me know your favorite song from This Place Will Become Your Tomb. And again, we'll get a back and forth conversation and just talk some Sleep Token. Nothing better than talk some good old Sleep Token. So leave your comments down below. I always say my top 3 favorite songs. Sometimes I say it's really hard. This was legitimately the hardest one I had to pick because, again, I enjoyed all the singles. I loved all the non-singles. And so for me, it's like, what do I pick? What songs do I pick? And again, my thoughts could always change. Like this, sometimes it does change. So for me, I would say as of right now, on the first, keep in mind, this is just a first listen review where I literally just got done listening to the album. And so I'm just going off of my just initial thoughts from my notes. But I would say right now, I'm just thinking of the songs that just impacted me the most and just made me go, wow, that's incredible. So Ascensionism is number 1. Love the piano. I love that song. I love the rapping in it. I thought that was super cool. I don't know. His voice works for it, in my personal opinion. Some people may disagree with that. That's completely fine. But for me, as a guy who loves that type of music, I like R&B rap. I thought it was so sick. So sick. The next song I really liked is Are You Really Okay? I think that song definitely, like, the music in it, like, definitely captured the emotion of it being a really sad song. And then the lyrics come in and Vessel's voice comes in, and it really is a very impactful song. I feel like this song is going to be the black sheep of the album, where a lot of people may not like this song too much or may not get as many plays as, you know, they wanted to. But for me, I absolutely thought this song was wonderful and very emotionally impactful, and I just loved it. I thought it was really cool. And then honestly, I would probably say the last song, Elucid. Again, I'm probably saying it wrong. I apologize. I love the callback to Sundowning. I love the guitar on it. I love Vessel's voice on it. Like, that was a perfect way to end an album. I could see why a lot of reviews were saying, like, if the album ended, like, it's a perfect album closer, and if Sleep Token were to be done with their career after this album, this would be the perfect closer, because it does feel like the end of a chapter when you listen to the song. It does feel like, you know, you've been through so much with this band emotionally, and you're just like, this feels like it could be the end. Like, not like in a bad way. This feels like this could be like the last album they ever put out, and that, no, in a different kind of world, if that was the case, that I would be satisfied with it. But I know for sure we're going to be getting more music from these guys. And so those are the 3 songs that stuck out to me as of right now. Again, that is always subject to change, but again, on my first initial listen, these are the 3 songs that really impacted me the most. For me, it doesn't get any better than this album. I am so, like, emotionally, like, floored with this album when it comes to, like, again, the instruments, the emotion in this album. This album is perfect, and I was really hoping that it would meet my expectations, because again, I had so much like high expectations going into it, and I really feel like for me personally, it definitely met those expectations. Again, I think a lot of people assume that Sleep Token, because again, they are categorized as metal. Like if you look on like iTunes or Spotify or Apple Music, like they're classified as a metal band. And when people hear like certain songs, they're gonna be like, that's definitely not metal. And so I feel like a lot of people are gonna be like, this is not what I expected it to be. As a fan of this band and kind of know what that's gonna sound like going in, I was so floored. And honestly, for those who maybe don't like this album, definitely let it marinate a little bit, because again, as I just mentioned, like Sundowning and This Place Will Become Your Tomb did not hit with me at first. I really wanted to like Sleep Token, and so I was like, I need to listen to it more and more until I just find something that clicks. And sometimes music just doesn't click, and that's completely fine. But once I learned more about the lore, once I learned more about, you know, kind of like what, you know, like the singing and everything like that, like I really, like something clicked. And it worked for me. So again, for those who are kind of like mid or don't really like this album, I would say try your best to listen to it like 2 or 3 times and just really let the music just let it feel in your soul. Because again, that's what happened to me, and I absolutely adore this band. So yeah, just give it a chance. And again, if you don't like it after that, that's completely fine. But again, for me, this album is perfect. Perfect. Sleep Token, Take Me Back to Eden, absolutely deserves a solid 10 out of 10. This is now honestly my new favorite album of the year, unless Wage War decides to drop something out of nowhere, you know, a new album, which it would be their time for an album. That might be a little competition for me, because again, Wage War is like my favorite band ever, but Sleep Token's right up there as well, so who knows. But as of right now, this absolutely will probably be my number 1. Again, spoiler alert, this may be my favorite album of the year. There's been so much music coming out, but again, this one, it's special, it's beautiful, it's heavy, it's everything that you would want in music, at least for me. This album is pure joy, and it's perfect for me.